Hi everybody, welcome back to our series of You Got This Equestrian, all about equestrian confidence for riders and non-riders. So we've got Eden from her amazing Instagram account, which I'm going to get to tell you all about very shortly, who's going to be chatting with us today. So Eden, I'm going to let you do a bit of an intro of you because you will do it far better than I will, and tell everybody about you, your Insta life.
Hi everybody, so I'm Eden and I am the content creator behind Heels Down and Kick On. I guess I'm one half of it now because Harper seems to have taken a forefront at the moment. So yeah, we're just up here in sunny northeast England, trying not to get blown away too frequently. Just kind of doing our thing.
So tell us how old Harper is as well, because seeing as she is the other half that is taking over your Instagram at the minute.
I know, taking it over fully. She is now 5. I couldn't remember then.
Gosh, she's grown up so quick as well. She was like this tiny little dot when I first found your Instagram account.
I know. Her legs just seem to be like growing and growing through a little child. Honestly, like when we go showing and stuff now, I think she gets a bit of a raw deal because she's the same height as say 6 and some 7-year-olds in the show ring. So I'm like, oh, you're gonna have to ride like those.
Bless her. So what horses, ponies have you currently got at the minute?
Currently, we have Dan Dan, who's Harper's main pony, who is meant to be kind of doing the first ridden job, but he's not really the best at it, let's just say that. But he was a lead ridden pony, so I'm trying to push Harper now onto the other Dartmoor, who's Buzz, and trying to get, obviously she's still a baby. I've got a little daughter as well called Freya, who's 6 months, but then my plan is to move Freya onto Dan and Harper onto Buzz. Buzz is a 5-year-old, 6-year-old Dartmoor, who's just in the process of being broken. He goes away in a few months' time after I've broken him to be schooled. So hopefully he comes back really quiet. I'm praying he comes back nice. And then I've got Patrick, who's 17. He's an ex-show jumper and he came to me to simply build my confidence up.
Oh, amazing. I did wonder then when you said, and she'll be moving on to this pony, and then Dan Dan's there, and I thought, I'm sure your other one's very, very little to be moving on to Dan at the minute.
But we did get Harper Dan when she was 18 months old. So if we do this process really slowly of moving her onto Buzz, I've got somebody ticking away with Dan Dan as well. Somebody from Pony Club who's riding him, which obviously isn't on Instagram because she doesn't want it to be on Instagram. So hopefully we'll be able to somehow figure out ponies. I don't know. I've ended up with more ponies than children at the moment. So
my ponies are better behaved than my children. They listen far more.
I'm glad yours do. Mine rule my life.
No, it's the earlier you can get them started, the better. My youngest was 18 months when we got her first pony. It's just, they don't do much at that age, but it's just getting them into it and building their confidence and awareness, isn't it, more than anything else?
Yeah, and Dan's done a lot more than that for Harper. Like, he's just her best friend, and he's taught her that things don't always go right, but you have to keep working at it. And like, he got poorly, and that was a really nice life lesson. Now he's survived, it's nice, but at the time it was horrific. But it's taught her that things do go wrong and that everything is quite fragile, really. And it's just, they're just full of life lessons, aren't they, these little ponies?
Yeah, and ponies are just a little bit spirited, aren't they? I think they do teach kids. I'm trying to say that really nicely. Ponies are just spirited. They do teach kids life lessons, and that actually they've got to act in a certain way, and they will react to them if they run up screaming and shouting differently to actually if they go up to them calmly. And it's all of those little things, their own self-awareness, isn't it, as much as anything else?
Yeah. Ponies are very humbling, aren't they?
That's one way of
yeah. Yeah. They like to keep us grounded. When we start getting a bit confident for ourselves, ponies, you can always rely on Dan Dan to knock you down a few pegs.
They have just got that way. And I know, like, we've always had like spirited ponies, But actually, like, I'll speak to my kids about some of the ponies that they've had in the past, and they always say, yeah, but they've made us like more confident around the horses, or they've made us into better riders, or they taught us this lesson, or they taught me that I can't get away with acting like this, or I know that if I go in and I'm really on edge or I'm really upset about something, then this is how they'll react. So I think as much as they're spirited, they do teach them so much, and each one of them teaches it slightly different because they've all got their own personalities.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Like they're just ponies. They're just lovely. Yeah. Like, they're really, really nice to have around, and it has like done a lot more for Harper than what I expected, because I can't remember that part of my life, obviously. So it's just lovely to watch her kind of grow, and he's taught her to read and just like being like, because he's just there. He is just there.
Oh, cute.
No.
So you said you got Patrick to boost your confidence. Tell me a little bit about that.
So when Harper was about 2-3 months old, I bought a horse that was meant to be safe, or meant to be I can't remember how it was worded, but I thought he'd be a perfect fit for me. But I wanted something at that point, because she was so little, that I could kind of pick up and drop down a little bit and not worry too much about the behaviour side and just have fun on. I had it for a week or two, and it simply just binned me, and I snapped my leg in just pretty much in half. It was like dangling off. It was delightful. So I struggled with casts. I had a massive issue with swelling. I can't remember the words for it, but simply my leg just wouldn't stay in like a normal cast. So I ended up in bed for about 12 weeks while it's healed. And then when it got back on, I kind of completely lost my bottle. And it wasn't until that point that I've always been kind of one of those people that was a little bit harsh on somebody that might have been crying or something. I'm like, come on, just crack on, just forget about it, just come on. And now if I see someone crying, I'm like, you all right? Like, do you want to talk? Do you want me to help? So it has completely just made me realise a lot about myself. And I've even messaged people that I've been jumping with in the past, and I've said, really sorry, shouldn't have pushed you. I know confidence is now a thing. And it got to the point where we bought, who did we buy first? We bought a Connemara project, because I jumped out of bed when I was allowed the all clear, and I said to Ash, let's just buy a project. I don't know what I want to buy. I'll get another project, because that's what I've always kind of done. And I was terrified. Like, Ash was leading me round on the lead rein in the field, and it would like spook or something. I'd be like, I'm done. I'm getting off now. But I carried on working with that a little bit, and I sold that for, I don't think I made any money on it, actually. I think I sold it for what I bought it for. And then I bought another project. I don't know why, which was cross break. I ended up sending it away to be broken, and I just never got on with it at all. It just used to bronk me off constantly. And the funny thing is, Ash is a novice rider. He's not nervous, a novice rider, and he could ride it out and hack out on it and everything, and it did not agree with me. I don't know if it's because it knew I was subconsciously nervous or what, and it just used to bronk me off constantly. I remember saying to Ash, he legged me up one day, and it felt like he like smacked her bum, like, do you know, like, get off me, like, get riding forward or whatever, like a bit old school, like, come on. And it set off bronking, and I was going around being bronked off, shouting to Ash, why did you smack it? And he was like, why would I smack it? And I was like, I don't know, it just felt like that, the kind of momentum he must have gone behind her or something. So yeah, she got sent away and she was broken. And then I said to Ash, I said, this is ridiculous, let's just spend good money on something that has had a life. And then we found Patrick. So Patrick is an ex-show jump. He was sold to a little girl over here, who just found his jump and everything a bit too big. He's big and he rides big. He's not one of these horses that ride quite little. And he's just delightful. He's a bit sharp, a bit quirky, but he's safe. I think he's safe. If you can ride, he's safe, if that makes sense. So he'll have a spook, he'll have a bit of a buck, a bit of a launch, but he'll never do it in a way where I feel like, I'm going to come off. And to be really fair to him, when I first got him and I was nervous and I was struggling to canter and struggling some days to get on him, he was a doddle. Like, he's kind of got sharper as I've returned back to my old riding self, which is really nice. And it's like a quality that I could have never really looked for, but I've ended up with. And Ash laughs at me all the time because I say, oh, he's kicking off, and he's like, he's not kicking off, is he? I'm like, no, he's just kind of had a little spook. my version of kicking off has changed quite dramatically in the last 5 years.
Oh, it's so nice that you've found one though that's sort of developed with you while your confidence has grown, and while you weren't so confident was that lovely quiet horse, and then as you've got more confident has been able to bring out probably his true character, really.
Yeah, he's really sweet. The thing about Patrick is that I didn't really expect when I was looking for schoolmaster. I've never had them before, so I've always bought cheap and then sold, because I never really had the money to go out and spend on like a nice expensive horse that has done X, Y, and Z. I never knew that you had to kind of change your riding. So anything I'd broken has been broken to me, whereas I kind of had to figure him out. Like, it took me ages to be able to canter him from one asking. Like, I used to go around and sit in Trot like, come on, let's canter. Like, I couldn't find his buttons at all. But now I've found them. He's lovely. But he's just, I don't know, I just didn't think about that when I bought a schoolmaster.
When it's not what you're used to, and you're used to being able to bring on projects, though, it's a completely different thing. And it's a completely different, like you said, way of riding, way of routine that they're used to. Everything about it is completely different.
Yeah, he's not a big fan of our routine, I must say. He gets very stressed at me. Because I like them out as much as he can be out. But with him being a show jumper, I don't think he's ever lived out as much as I have my hours out.
Uh-huh.
I'll put him out and he'll have a bit of a roll, then he'll come back over and be like, are we going back in now? Like, I've had him about 5 years now. He's like, going back in? I'm like, no.
Yeah, I'm very prepared.
Yeah, and he just stand, like, if I go out now, he'd just be stood over the wall, like, looking at me like, come on, come and get me. And the other two will just be there, like, chilling out, eating grass. But it's just lovely. Like, I cannot fault him at all. And I even put him up for sale just before COVID, actually, because I wanted to step back up and do a bit more. He's getting old now. He's 17 now. So he was struggling with like the harder dressage movements, and I don't want to be going out and jumping like hundreds and stuff on him, because I don't feel like it's really fair on his bones. So I did put him up for sale, and then there's been little times now since we've had Freya, because obviously at that point we didn't have Freya. So he wasn't sat on for about 4 weeks, and I went for a hack out the other day. And yeah, it was spooky, but I never once felt like I was about to die in the scenario. I think there's a lot to be said for just getting something that you know you want and cutting out everyone else saying that's not ever what you've had. I think you just need to follow your gut, don't you, on what you know you need.
Absolutely. You know, I've shared time and time again, and if anybody hasn't seen the background to why all of these videos started, scroll back up to the first one of me talking. But I shared on that, and shared time and time again, the time when I had my really bad horse riding accident and I managed to sort of shatter everything. The minute I got on that horse, I knew. The minute I sat on it, I went, oh, this is really big, because it was like an 18-hand hunter. And bearing in mind, for like 3 years prior to that, I hadn't sat on anything bigger than sort of 14 and a half. And I was like, oh, this is really big. And in my head, I was thinking, I need to get off this horse. This does not feel right. And I talked myself out of it. I was like, you've just been really stupid, because you haven't been on anything this big for ages. You used to ride these horses out all the time. It's follow your gut, because you know when something's right or not right. Absolutely.
Yeah. I know, like my nan always said to me, she always said, you never know what your bad luck saved you from. And it's completely right. Like, just if there's like, say if you're viewing a horse or something like that, and there's 1,000 reasons why you haven't got to see that horse, just don't go. Like, there's someone somewhere is trying to tell you that it's not the right one for you. It's just following your gut completely, and just knowing that you're right. Like, I'm having it with Hayley at the moment with Dan, because I keep saying we should really get something a bit quieter just for a year, just to allow you to learn. And she's like, I want to ride Dan. So who am I to then say, well, you can't do that? Like, it's really hard. But we can't.
They know in themselves. We went to go view what to me was like the perfect little kid's grey pony. It was so cute. It was so lovely. She potted off into a field where she'd never ridden before, on this pony that she'd never ridden before, and was like, fine. She was cantering it round. Absolutely. I was like, yes, we found the one, and it's really cheap. She's always a bonus. Because she goes through ponies. I was like, yeah, this is definitely the one. And we got in the car and she went, I don't want it. What? You've just ridden it. It was foot perfect, apart from a couple of times where you had to get your leg on a little bit more. What was wrong? I don't know. It just made me feel a bit sick when I was riding it. I didn't like it. There's something not right with it. I don't like it. Okay. So we go for the more expensive one then. You know, they do just know. You've got to be able to listen to them as well.
I know we're having this because I still would like to get her something quieter. We're still viewing, but just quietly on the down low. And we went to try one, and she got off and she was like, it was boring. So in the car, because she's only 5, so in the car I said, well, next time you need to just say, thank you very much for letting me ride your horse. He or she's lovely. So she got off the next one. She was like, thanks very much for letting me ride your horse. She was lovely. And I was just like, oh.
That whole script.
Yeah, like they're just completely like, she's a very literal kid, so she kind of just like, if I tell her like, say we're going to go in here and you're going to stand and you're going to be quiet, like she'll do exactly what she told to do. So like it was better than getting off and going, oh well, that's boring. And I was just horrified, like, do you mean that it's just a bit quiet?
Yeah, he's not boring, he's lovely, he's just not quite for you.
Yeah. Just say thank you, we'll go.
Well, you never know, though. Dan might just be the perfect one for her.
He terrifies me off the lead.
Is he any better off the lead than on the lead?
He loves the lead. He's always been a show pony, so our way of life does terrify him a little bit. Like Harper scares him a little bit, but he seems to be up for it. She's attempting her first pony club next week again. The last one, he went from the bottom to the top and just bronked until she fell off. So we're attempting it again, but I'm going to ask the instructor not to tell her to trot, so ask her to jog.
Yeah.
And I've just ordered her some new stirrups because she got dragged the other week as well.
It's fine. It's all about building confidence, and you know, these horses build personalities.
I know.
And she'll be a better rider at the end of it. You know, it's ponies like that make kids into good riders.
I know. My mum says this because my mum said, well, when you were little, your favourite pony was the one that used to roll on the beach because he was like idiot. He used to go and find like a water pool and then just get down and roll. And she was like, he was always your favourite. And I was like, I know, it's just a bit more scary. And she was like, I know, that's why I used to always try and push you into some other things. And I was like, all right, I understand now.
That's it, isn't it? When it's your own child, it's different. And especially when you've been there, you know, and had like crisis of confidence and all that sort of stuff, or had an injury, I think it makes you even more aware of what they're doing and how they feel and what ponies they're on. And yeah, she'll get there. Or you'll get there, one of the two.
Yeah. One of us. Oh, I'll just have to stop taking her. I have to take her.
Just don't watch.
I know. That's what I need to do. Stop being involved.
That's it. Just drop her off, go sit back in the box, and just don't watch.
That might be the way forward.
As long as she's enjoying it.
I know, that's it.
Yeah, that is fine. Yeah, just don't watch, or a very large drink while you're watching, one of the two.
Yeah, definitely. But with somebody else driving home, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Take Ash's shot. So for anybody who's watching, who's thinking, yeah, this is me, I've had a crisis of confidence, or I've had a baby, or I've had an injury, or whatever it might be, what would be sort of your top tip or top tips for just building that confidence back up?
So what I did, once I actually realised that I wasn't the rider, I'm very stubborn and I'm very pig-headed. So I have to realise myself that I'm struggling before. Like, it's useless 100 people telling me. So I went to a riding school and I had a lunge lesson. I actually had 2 lunge lessons. And on the first one, I was fine. Like, it was all safe, it was all controlled, so I was absolutely fine. And on the second one, I was riding around thinking, well, this is a bit boring, I'm not learning anything else. That's why I didn't go back for another one. But I kind of just do that for as long as you need to build everything back up. I also, at the same time, went to quite a lot of mechanical horse lessons. So that was like, in my head, that was a lot of rehabby. So with my leg, it goes numb quite a lot. So I just needed to figure out where my body was and made sure I was straight and everything like that. Like, I'm quite a perfectionist, so I didn't want to get on something and be wonky. But that's something that I always said I want to keep up, but I've not actually been back since then, but I would like to keep doing them. And just ride as many horses as you can physically get on that are safe. So if you're like a friend or something that's got a horse and you've seen it out 1,000 times, it's safe, go and ask if you can ride it. Like, you don't have to do anything major. And the other thing is, like, don't try and be the person you were, because it's pointless. Me, even now, like, I wouldn't, if somebody was having issues with a horse, say like napping issues or stuff like that, like, I'm still quite good on the floor, so I'm really good at like loading and like those type of issues and braking and stuff. I can still do that, but I'm not as confident in the saddle. I don't think I ever will be as confident in the saddle. So if someone was having issues with napping, like, I'm not now that person that's going to be offering to for them to send it here. Like, I'm not that person anymore, and I know I'm not. And it's just realizing that you're not always going to be the same rider, and it's putting yourself in situations where you're going to build up your confidence. So I would never now, at this point in the season, I would never be entering like a B90 or a B100. That for me now would be terrifying, but it could be something that I could build up to by the end of the season, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's just realising where you are and setting little goals, tiny little goals, just to take that little bit forward.
Yeah, it's achievable goals as well.
Yeah.
And it's making sure, so I'm by myself here, but I have one friend that I'll go cross-country schooling with. I won't go cross-country schooling with anyone else, because I know that she's really good for my confidence. Whereas if I go with somebody now that's a little bit nervous, I all of a sudden like start, like, even subconsciously in my head, I'm just like, oh, I'll just do the little ones. So yeah, I'll only go country schooling now with this one person. And it's just making sure you surround yourself with people that are going to be positive, have a positive impact on you. Don't be putting yourself in a situation where you're then going to start feeding off somebody else's nervous energy, because it's just going to do any of your, like, it's not good at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the same goes for like when you're going to instructors and things. I know when I sort of went back after all my confidence went, I tried 3 different instructors before I found one that I actually felt comfortable with, because the other 2 just made me feel like I was under so much pressure, and I wasn't being judged, but I felt like I was being judged. That actually it took me a few goes, and even that took a big thing of me going, no, I don't want you to come back and give me another lesson, until I found one that actually I felt I could just go, do you know what, when he does this, it really freaks me out, and I don't know why. Because my thing was, when he went backwards, I didn't go backwards in my accident, so I don't know why it was about going backwards. And whenever he reversed, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. He only went back like 3 steps, so why I felt I was going to die, I'm not sure. But that was a huge thing for me. And so it took me a little while to get an instructor who actually gave me some confidence around that. So yeah, absolutely, being surrounded by the right people is so important.
Yeah. It's really funny you say that, because I like instructors that are like a little bit bullying, like ones that are like, come on, get on with it. Like, if I'm having like a little bit of a nervous moment, if somebody then feeds my nervousness with, oh, it's okay, let's just do this, like, I kind of fall backwards. But if someone says, right, you've got to do this is what you got to do, I'm like, yep, come on then. So it's really funny that you said that. Like, it's completely different for everybody.
Yeah, it is. And what we all need, so Dan, that's like you said, finding the right people and that right support network and the right people to go with is really important. Whereas I'm totally different. If one of my kids has a crisis of confidence, I am like your instructor. I'm like, no, get on, you'll be fine. I'm not listening. You'll be all right. Keep going. You're not getting off now.
And there was a crying at you, I need to get off. No, we don't get off when we're crying.
No, you don't. I'm timing you for another 5 minutes. We're ending on a good note. Keep going.
Oh, we're awful people, aren't we? You're completely right. It's just, I don't know. I think it's just finding exactly what works for you and just being honest with yourself. Like, we're not all perfect and we do make mistakes and we do slip up, and it's just figuring out what works. And the other thing is riding wear, what might work. So say I've got a friend that will only ever ride a body protector, and that's absolutely fine for her. But in a body protector, I feel like I'm really like rigid and stuck and I don't stay on as well. I don't know if it's because I give up easier or if I don't know. So it's like, and then when I put on my body protector, I have that in my head that I know I don't stay on as well with my body protector on. But then it's one of those things, it's like catch-22 because I want to wear it more so I'm safer.
Hey, the only reason I wasn't in a wheelchair full time and I was only in it for 6 months was because I had my body protector on, that accident I had. And it was, I never wore a body protector, like ever. I'd take it in the car because my hubby used to make me take it. And I'd be like, oh yeah, it's in the car, I'm so going to wear it. What made me wear it that day, I have got no idea, because I even went back to the car and got it. No idea what made me wear it. But that was the only reason. And now I always, 98% of the time, ride with a body protector on. And I've got used to it, but I hated it at first because it felt really, really weird. But my kids have got like the race safe, and then they've got the champion titanium, which is a bit like the race safe, and they're so much better. So body protectors are getting so much better. But yeah, they do feel weird. It is a case of training ourselves, I think, to ride in them.
I do think it's something I need to do more. It's just mine's really rigid, and the race safe ones don't fit my like body shape at all. They seem to just come up here, and like maybe I need to try the champion one. But it's just,
mine's really rigid and I don't particularly like it, but I am going to get one of the champion titaniums because that's the last one that we bought out of the new ones, and they seem to fit a lot better. They've got a bit more flexibility in where you can adjust them and stuff as well. Yeah, maybe try one of those.
Yeah, I'll have to. And the same for like sticky jods and stuff. Like I can't get away from sticky jods, and I just feel stuck. So I prefer like to slide around a little bit. But it's just kind of figuring out what works for you, and what, if you feel like you're wearing the right stuff for you, I feel like you can take on a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, in short boots and socks all the time, and I used to have the best lower leg, and now my lower leg's completely gone, so I have to ride in long boots all the time to have a good lower leg. But it's just, I don't know where it's gone, but it hasn't been returned to me. We just need to feel like comfortable in what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And not worry about everybody else is saying and thinking, and because you've just got to do what's right for you.
Oh, definitely. Like I had so much stick. I think I entered like a 70 centimetre. So I used to do BS quite a bit, and I entered a 70 centimetre. It was a combined train or something. And I was like, well, why are you doing that? And I was so nervous, and I rode it literally. I don't think I've even got it on video. But I rode it like I was jumping like a metre 30 or a pre-sense or something. Like my legs were going. I was like, come on. And like I got so much stick for it, and I was so proud of myself afterwards, and I just didn't care. Like I literally just didn't care, and I was chuffed to bits that I got around like this 70 centimetre course. It was messy. I looked ridiculous. I looked like one of those little kids. I looked like Harper when she's jumping. Like my legs were going, my arms are going. Like nothing was pretty. But we just did it, and it just felt amazing. Like just don't care what everyone says. Everyone's always going to say something about you. And my mum always used to say, if they're talking about you, you're obviously doing something right. So just let them talk.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. I like that one. That seems like a good place to round up today. So I will tag Eden's account in the comments, so you can go and check her out or Harper out, whoever's on the most at the minute, seeing as Harper is taking over with Dan. See how Eden's journey with Patrick's going, see what new ponies turn up or don't turn up. But thank you so much for joining us today, Eden. And like I said, everybody, I'll tag Eden's account below.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, I will chat with you very soon.
Thank you.